Welcome, here I've got POCO M3 and I'm gonna show you the top tricks of its camera. So let's start by tapping on the camera button here to open it. And for now we are in the standard photo mode. Let's see what we've got here. Let me start with this settings bar. Here, as you can see, we can change the modes of this camera. So we have the Pro mode, video, standard photo, portrait. By going to the right we have more, so we get access to the night mode, 48 megapixels mode, so the best possible quality of this camera, short video, panoramic, documents, slow motion and the time lapse. So this is a lot. I don't have much time to speak about all of these modes now. I suggest you to making experiments with that and just have a good fun. Now let's go back to the standard photo mode, and here let's start by tapping anywhere at the screen. As you can see, we have access to this ring with this small icon from the right. The ring is defocusing, so we can pick the focusing area anywhere at our picture we want to and need to. And when we tap on this small icon from the right a little bit longer, as you can see, we get access to some extra slider with the exposure compensation. So here we can manage the light of our picture. By going up, we can make our photo more bright. By going down, we can make it more dark. This is how it works here. And of course, when we tap anywhere, again we go back to the auto settings, so there's no problem to go back. Now let's have a look how to zoom. We can do it by using two fingers, and this is how to get closer to the subject and also go back. Now let's move to this settings bar here. Let me start from the left. The first one button here is the flash. Here we can manage it. We can turn on flash on the auto, so now the camera recognizes when it's needed, when it's too dark. When we tap here once again, we can also turn on flash every time we take a picture. And here we can also pick this one from the right, so we can turn on the torch, the fill light. And of course we can turn it off from the left, so let's stay on this. The next one button here is the HDR. By tapping on this we can pick the auto HDR, so the camera recognizes when it's possible to have this now. We can also turn it on every time we take a picture and turn it off from the left. I suggest you to keep this on the auto because the HDR helps to improve the details in the brightest and darkest areas of our photos, and it really helps to making our pictures just more beautiful and lightful. The next one button here at the center is Auto Intelligent Camera. So when we have this, turn it on, the camera should recognize the scene we have. Now it recognizes that we have the text, so the T letter from the background appeared here, as you can see. And it should give us the best possible settings to taking this kind of photo. As you can see, this is how it changes here. Another tap to turn it off. Now let's move to this button. When we tap here, we get access to the filters slider, so we can make our picture more beautiful before we take it. As you can see, this is how to use this. We can pick whatever we need and like. Now let's stay on the normal one. Let's tap here to turn it off, and let's move to the right corner to this button. When we tap here, we get access to more settings about the camera we can manage. Now let's focus on the first one, settings bar here. Here we can manage the aspect ratio of this camera. Now we are in 3:4 aspect ratio, so the yellow color suggests us which is now. We can pick also 1:1 from the left, and as you can see, the background has changed to the square one, so this is how to manage this. And another tab here to the right corner, we can pick on the settings bar also ratio 9:16, and in the camera preview it looks like that, so this is longer one than 1:1 and 4:3. Also when we tap again here in the right corner, we can pick full aspect ratio, and this is the full one here, so full camera frame. And of course here we can easily go back to 3:4 to remind you this is how it looks like. So let's stay on the settings in the right corner. Let's move to the next one, settings bar here. Here we can adjust the camera timer, so we can pick the delay of taking picture. We can pick from 3, 5 or 10 seconds of delay. Now let's stay on 3 seconds for example to show you how it works. And let me take a picture by using the shutter now. Here we have the countdown. And this is how it works. The picture was taken with 3 seconds of delay. Now let's go back to the settings in the right corner. Let's turn off the camera timer. So let's tap here at the left of this settings bar. And let's move to this settings. Let me start with the movie frame. Here by just one tap we can turn on this thing. As you can see, this is how it looks like. So we can feel like in the cinema. And also when we go back here and tap here, we can easily turn it off. The next one button here I want to show you is this one with show grid lines. So here we can turn them on and off. Also, as you can see, the yellow color suggests us that now they are turned on. And in the camera preview we can see these lines. This is useful, for example, when we want to use the rule of thirds in photography or making experiments with composition. Also remember that these lines are not visible at the real picture. So when I take a photo and when I go here to the left corner at the bottom, by tapping on this button we get quick access to the gallery. We can't see the grid lines at the real picture. So they are only to help us taking better photos. And of course when we don't need this, we can easily tap again to the right corner, then to this button, and for now they have gone here. Another tap here to the right corner, and let me show you this button from the right with straighten. So by just one tap here we can turn on kind of leveler at this camera. Of course another tap to turn it off. Now let me keep this turned on. And here we have this line. This is useful when we want to, for example, keep our photographic topic straight at the picture. And the yellow line suggests us that now we correctly adjusted our device and this is stable. And to turn it off, let's go back to the right corner and pick the straighten once again. So for now this line have gone. And now let's move to the macro. Here by just one tap we can turn on the best possible settings to taking macro picture. And of course we can turn it off again here. The next one button here is the tilt shift. So when we turn it on, as you can see, the yellow color also suggests us that now we have this. We can blur our background in the circle or in this kind of square. So this is how it works. Here let's turn this off now and let's move to timed burst option. Here by tapping on it we can turn it on, and now when we tap on this one a little bit longer we get access to more options about the time bars we can manage. So we can pick the number of pictures we want to have. As you can see, it's wide spectrum from 10 to 600, and now let's stay on 10 for example, and the interval. So we can take 10 pictures in the interval, so we can pick from 1 to 60 seconds. Let me pick, for example, 3 seconds, and now when we tap on the shutter, we can take 10 pictures, and every picture should be every 3 seconds. Of course, we can stop this by tapping again here. Now let's go again to the right corner, let's turn it off, and let's move to the left to this button with settings. Here we can open some advanced camera settings. As you can see, we have a lot of this, so let me show you a few of them. Let's start with the camera watermark. Here by tapping on this we can add the timestamp on photos and also the device watermark. So by using these buttons we can turn them on and off. We can add just one of this, we can add both at the same time. With the device is also connected the third one, the custom one. So when we pick this we can add our own watermark. Now as you can see, it's hard reset, so here we can, by using the keyboard, write whatever we need. Let's stay on hard reset now and save. But remember that we can't add the custom without the device, so these two are connected. When we turn it off, the custom is locked, but of course you can add the device without the custom. But now let me stay on this one, let's keep it turned on. Let's go back to the camera to take a picture to see how this watermarks looks like at the real one. To see it, let's move again to the left corner at the bottom to the gallery, and here it is. The watermarks appear here at the bottom. Let's get closer to it. And from the left we have POCO M3 watermark, so the device one with hard reset, the custom one. From the right we have the timestamp. And of course, when we don't need these watermarks, we can go back to the camera, then to the right corner, then to the left to these settings, and pick here the watermark and use these buttons to turn them off. So for now, when we take another picture, the watermarks should be not visible at it. Now let's go back to this settings. Let's move to scan QR codes option. By tapping on this button, we can easily turn it off and turn it on like that. So this option allows the camera app to scan QR codes, and I suggest you to keep this turned on because this is the easiest way to scan QRs. Now you can do it by just putting them inside the standard photo mode with the rear camera, and you don't need any other app to do it. Now let's move to the picture quality. When we tap here, we can change it. We can pick from high, standard and low. And of course I suggest you to keep this on the best possible, which is high here. And now let's move to the volume buttons function. When we tap here, we can adjust what the volume buttons of this device do with the cooperation with the camera. So the volume buttons are here. In the standard usage with this device, they allow us to control the volume. With the camera, we can pick from shutter, shutter countdown, zoom and volume. So this is really cool thing. Now let me pick, for example, shutter to show you how it works. And let's go back to the camera. And now when I tap on these volume buttons, I can easily take a picture. So this is how it works here. And now let's go again to the right, then to the left. Let's slide down and let's move to press and hold shutter button. When we tap here, we can decide what our shutter do when we tap on it a little bit longer. We can pick from record, video, burst shot and focus. Let me show you the burst shot because this is really cool thing here. When we go back to the camera now and tap on the shutter button a little bit longer, we can take many pictures at once. So we get the series of pictures and it's really fast. So this is really cool thing. Now let's go back to the settings from the right and left, and here we are again. Let's slide down to the general settings. At first place here we have the customized settings, so when we pick it, we can adjust some settings about the camera app. So at the first we have the feature layout. Here we can manage the composition of our modes. So when we tap here, for example, a little bit longer, we can move this like that, and we can pick whatever we need and decompose this as we need. And here in the right corner we can save these settings. The next one button here are the camera modes. So here we can decide if we want to see our modes with the tab or with the panel. Now let's go back to the settings and let's pick the colors. Here we can adjust the colors of this camera. Now we are on the yellow, but we can also pick the other ones. So for example, let me change this now to the blue, and here we have to apply this. And now when we go back to the camera, we can see that here we have the blue color, and also when we tap here and use the settings, we can turn them on the blue. Now let's move to the settings from the left. Let's slide down and again pick the customized settings. And here we can also manage the sound of our shutter. We can pick the default sound. We can pick the retro. We can pick the film. And the modern. So this is how it works. Here let's go back. And let's go back to this general settings now. The next one button here is the Save Location Info option, so it allows us to save the information about the place where we take a picture in the details about it. By using this button we can easily turn it on and turn it off as we need. And when we have this turn it on, when we want to use this, the important thing is that to make it work correctly, we have to be connected with the internet, for example the Wi-Fi, and we have to turn on the location of this device. So remember about these two parameters to make it work. And now let me keep this turned on. Let's go back to the camera and take another picture. To see it, let's move again to the left, to the gallery here. So this is it. Now let's tap on the center so we get access to options about the gallery, and let's move to the right corner at the bottom to this button. Here we have to pick the details, and here at the last position we can check our location, and also when we tap here to the full address we get quick access to the Google Maps, and here we can check our location at the map. So greetings from Kraków, Poland. And now let's go back to the camera. Let's go back to the right corner, then to the left settings. Let's slide down again to the general settings, and another thing you can manage here is the shooter sound. So by tapping on this button we can turn off the camera sounds and turn them on as we need. And after managing all of these settings, and sometimes we may want to go back to the auto settings, we can do it by using the last one option I want to show you. At the end of the settings, restore default settings. When we tap here, we can reset all of the settings and go back to the auto to start using them from the beginning. And this is it. Thanks for watching, subscribe our channel and leave the thumbs up.